Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Go
Thank you
ahead.
so much. Thank you so much for this invitation. I'm really honored to have you all here and listening to me. I'm Amit Banka, based out of India, Mumbai. And when I just joined, I think you were talking about India's state of Madhya Pradesh and a lot of wildlife out there. So I'd like to just tell you, I belong to that state, and what I can tell you is that state has 27 wildlife sanctuaries and national parks.
Wow.
So, and one of the richest state in India with wildlife, and I think mostly all this different species are found out there in one form or the other. So, oh, Michael, thank you. I can just see that you are a V-Naturalist member, and thank you so much for that, and really appreciate it. So, what is V-Naturalists? And V-Naturalists essentially, everyone is a place, a digital interface which consolidates climate action. And what does it mean is that V-Naturalist essentially was formed for the need where we realize that there is no one place that people can share their work in nature or solutions in nature. Someone sitting in Africa, how they can inspire people in India or Indonesia or Australia or US. So the idea is that how do we bring all these solutions together? How do we bring opportunities together? How do we create an interface where people like you or people who are working in nature can showcase themselves well, which is the place where they belong, rather than an interface which doesn't support your work in any manner? How do we create opportunities for people in nature, whether it is conservationists or photographers in one side, then biologists and to an extent a chef working in nature or working with wildlife lodges. So we've been able to place, and I'm so glad uh, to share that particular data, that we have been able to place hundreds of people all around the world for various jobs in nature, various opportunities, create several entrepreneurs in nature by giving them some customized tools which helps them with digital transformation, right, in one form or the other. And the most important thing that we have been able to crack is built is for organizations in nature who are working relentlessly on ground, but they have never got a chance to create a digital interface for themselves, and hence their ability to raise funds, ability to contribute to the overall digitization and showcase themselves well to the world has been compromised in many ways. So we realize that it's important that how do we give them some empowerment, right? How do we empower this particular community where they can not just run their own clubs or membership programs, but also give them an opportunity to communicate with their community much better. So all and all put together, We Naturalists is a digital ecosystem. We solve various problems for the people in nature. We aggregate significantly large opportunities in this space worldwide. And at the same time, we hope that we should be reaching at least 500 million people in next 7 to 8 years from now across the globe, and become one of the largest or the largest place where we can talk nature and activate all and every possibility around us to reach all the net zero targets or carbon footprint targets that we all have set out. So that's what We Naturalist is. Currently, we reach almost 100 countries with more than 200,000 users worldwide. Yeah, so that's where we are. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Amit. for
What
that.
is the membership for the US if you wanted to be a member of your organization?
So good thing is that the membership is free, right? And the bad thing is it's free because because I would hope that most of the people who are working in nature first experiment and showcase themselves well at this particular place, right? Try to find out more and more opportunities. But the moment they start getting benefited commercially, right, there are certain tools made in a particular way that they will be charged,
That's
right?
wonderful.
So
Now,
so
is it
only based on commercial benefits.
is it only in India or is it in all over the world?
It's global. It's 100 countries we reach already. Our large markets are Africa's, US, Europe in many ways, Australia, Indonesia. India contributes significantly because I'm based in India, so I take benefit of
Yeah.
the local market. And to be honest with you, India, any which ways from nature perspective and climate action perspective also remains a massive focus area for the global markets as well.
What is the most unusual naturalist region in the world? The most obscure, because I imagine they are all over the world. What would classify as one of the most unusual?
See, you can define unusual in many ways, right? Because climate action as a requirement is global, right? But I personally think for me, unusual is where we are not able to create a better resource allocation.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, East Africa for me is that market,
Okay.
right? From your Congo to the entire East African belt.
Okay.
I personally think from a richness perspective and from evolution perspective, I see West Africa as a little more obscure. They need a lot of efforts and resources. But as far as East is concerned, it's much more resourceful. Kenya, Tanzania, Botswana, Uganda, South Africa, this entire belt in East, they actually are. In fact, I had a chance to be there last month for almost 15 to 20 days. And it was a very interesting experience meeting with almost 60 to 70 different organizations and people around the world. So that was my interesting learning while meeting with them and understanding the local level problems. So I guess west of Africa is one of the areas. Some parts of South Africa, South America, that I would consider as little less resourceful, and to be honest with you, less of Europe and US focus is on some of these markets,
Okay.
which I think it's improving as we speak.
In Europe, where would you identify a particular region that's, I'm only trying to do the threshold. Like I'm in Europe, it might be difficult to find, but I'm sure there's some destinations that have a very special privilege when it comes to travel, access to naturalist conditions.
So I don't know whether I understood your question correctly, but Europe is from a travel destination perspective, it always scores high when it comes to nature-driven travel.
Okay.
But wildlife-driven travel is not there.
Okay.
Okay.
So if someone has to go for wildlife, they have to go towards either US or India in a big way, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Thailand, and Africa's, right? But when it comes to nature, purely mountains, greens, lakes, water bodies, I think that's all around Europe, right? Unfortunately, over hundreds of years, systematically, the wildlife has been totally, eradicated from that land.
So the first thing this group can do is we can all become members of the We Naturalists. Okay, so because we've had Amit now come, I think once before, and then we've had Christopher come. So I think we owe it to them that we all become members of the We Naturalists. The second thing is if anyone can make a donation, I'm sure there's a donation button and you can get a donation for the organization. Now, Amit, I'm glad you're on this call. I'm going to take a minute. So, and then those of you watching on Facebook, Instagram, will make sure that you have the link and you've seen lovely wildlife from Kenya and you've seen it from India. Grover, if you're there, we need you to join the We Naturalists so you can have the Kenyan portion covered.
In fact, just like to say something on this particular note.
Yeah.
That for anyone interested in wildlife and want to see unadulterated content, not filtered in any manner, We Naturalist is the place.
Okay.
Right, because we aggregate content in terms of wildlife or anything on climate action across from all over the world, right? So it's one of the best places for you to consume nature content from different parts of the world.
So there you have it. We'll make sure that his link is available and we'll put it as part of our magazine initiative to get him memberships and donations. So that will be my commitment to you for just attending and helping us out. So you're watching Brightside Global Trade TV and you can subscribe to brightsideglobaltrade.org. And our next segment is very exciting because Queen Elizabeth is celebrating her Platinum Jubilee and we are expecting some people to come and talk to us about English food and what we can expect from the celebration in London. I'm going to